Raindrops keep falling on my head, and just like the guy whose feet were too big for his bed, nothing seems to fit. Those raindrops keep falling on my head, they keep falling. How can you mend a broken heart? How can you stop the rain from falling down? How can you stop the sun from shining? What makes the world go round? One is the loneliest number that you'll ever do. Two can't be as bad as one. It's the loneliest number since the number one. Welcome to Aimee Nolte Music, everybody. Thanks for being here. Today we're talking about something that I like to call the Bacharach Bounce, or the quarter note bouncy feel. It's a feel that I really like to play in, and a lot of times if songs get requested, this feel will work for me. I'm not sure I ever really learned it from anybody. I think it just kind of grew organically as I played more. But it's kind of an easy concept, and although it takes some practice and some soul, I think it can be put into practice pretty easily. And it's an accompaniment style that can be used on any song that's written in this kind of quarter note bouncy fashion. And I call it Bacharach because he wrote some songs like this, and it kind of just feels like Bacharach to me for some reason. Even you can even do it in three, like what the world needs now is love, sweet love. Right, even though that's in three, it's still got this Bacharach bounce to it. It's a quarter note with the right hand, and all I do is play quarter notes that are just really, really in time. That's the key for your right hand, and you have to pick voicings that are tasty. I'm going to show you how to do it. It's this idea that your right hand is just a quarter note. That's it. It just bounces. I'm very, very light on the pedal, and I'm taking it off all the time, even between notes a little bit. I'm just kind of feathering it. And the left hand is all divided into triplets. So, triplet, 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 triplet. And as you get a little more comfortable with it, you can add accents in your left hand where the triplets are. Until how can you mend a broken heart? How can you stop the rain? It's like this accent that happens in your left hand. It gives it like a little bit of a funky bass line, but really it's nice and legato. Come over to the piano. I want to show you about it. The first step is to take an easy chord voicing. So I'm talking, when I say easy, I'm talking about pop chord voicing. So if you've got an F major 7, I'm talking about it, these notes, no extra jazz notes, no, we're not adding anything, in any inversion. So you kind of want to find an inversion that's around the middle of the piano. I think the middle of the piano is just a nice sound for when you're playing chords and accompanying anyway. So let's take this one. Let's take the second inversion of F major 7. And you're going to start with no pedal. And you're just going to keep that quarter note. Be steady with it. The next thing you're going to do is you're going to add this. Like that. We'll try it again. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3. So it's you're hitting on 1 and then on the and of 3 and on the and of 4. And when I'm talking about and, I'm talking about triplet and. So we break every beat into triplets. 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a, like that. So if we do it that way and we call it and in between the beats, then when we get to 3, we're gonna hit on the of 3 and also on the of 4. But just to be easier, I'll say we're swinging and it's on the and of 3 and the and of 4. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 make sure that your right hand can just keep that pulse and that you're doing something a little bit difficult with your left hand. The next thing we're going to do, like the next step, after you've got this, of course, and you might want to turn on a metronome to do it as well, is to just go. So you're gonna do the exact same rhythm, but you're gonna come up to the 9 and the octave. All right? It's kind of I think I might have done it when I sang, "How can you mend a broken heart?" You add the melody with it, and things become a little more difficult. But that's a good first step. 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Then back 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2. The next thing you can do is you can add a C in the middle. I always find, it's a really nice idea to take these notes to make a bass line out of. They're good notes, the root, the fifth, the 9, the octave. So what we'll do is we'll hit this one, then we'll hit this one, and then on the way back, we'll just hit the C. Like that. So what are we? Let's see. 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 1. So it's the same rhythm that we were doing here. We're doing the and of 3 and the and of 4, but we're doing it here. The and of 3 and the and of 4. Can you try that with me? And even if you're not at your piano, why don't you just sing it? Dum, be, do, 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 boo, do, boo, do. That's a nice way to do it. You just clap your hands and you sing the rhythm, and then you let your hands do the work when you're ready. You might want to, if you play right here, you might want to let your thumb take it over so that you're continually holding it, and then your index finger is free to take you back down. Does that make sense? It's like an organ player's trick to remain legato. And I'm not even using the pedal, the sustain pedal at all. And that's okay, it'll sound fine. How can you mend a broken heart? How can you stop the rain from falling down? See, you can even just take this very simple boo-doo-da-do-be-da-da, and then you change chords and do the exact same thing in the new key. So we've got a G minor 7 chord going on, or maybe just G minor if you'd like. And what I do is I'll take the inversion that I'm on, and I'll go to the very closest inversion of the next chord. So for me, I think it was here, right? G minor 7 in its first inversion. And you can do the exact same pattern. And I know that B flat's coming up next. It's going to be a B flat major chord. So it's a nice idea to get from G to B flat by playing on that and of 4, just to knock out the one that's right in between it as a leading tone. 2, 3, 4, 1. Or and on the and of 3, right? So that was on the and of 3. This one's on the and of 4. Yeah. And then you can... How can you stop the sun from shining? So if you've only got 2 beats per chord, that's a good option. Let's go to a different song. And I know that sometimes you all don't like it if I don't finish a song and show you exactly how to finish the song. But this time, I'm just teaching a concept. And what I'd like you to do is to put your comments down in the comment thread and tell me your favorite bouncy quarter note songs, this Bacharach Bounce, because there's a bunch of them. In fact, I just thought of another one. It's this one. It's, who is it? The Turtles? Imagine me and you, I do. I think about you day and night. It's only right. Right, we've got C minor, B flat, and then it goes to A flat. To think about the girl you love and hold her tight, so happy together. So you've got C minor, B flat, A flat major, and G major. And it sounds pretty darn good just with that bouncy quarter note, doesn't it? Just like, you could just start your song like that, just like I just did, and that sounds great. But you add in a little bit of left hand, syncopated left hand with a slightly funky rhythm, triplet bass, and I don't know what you're going to do. You're going to be the hit of the party. You're going to go home with somebody cute. I don't know. Something. That's kind of taking what I taught you already, right? To go, except for maybe slightly different beats. 1 and 2 and 3. So on the and of 2, and then on the and of 3, and on the and of 4, and on the and of 1, and on the and of 2, and on the and. So every single and gets something. And I wasn't exactly sure which notes I was going to play before I did that just now. I just kind of went for them. And as long as they're in the key, it's okay. Like you can just take the natural minor scale, right? And go for any of those notes. Now the 6 is iffy. You often probably don't want to play the 6, even the 7. But I would say that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and octave are always safe. So that's kind of just what I did. I just took all those offbeats and I just added syncopation. Now it did get a little tricky because here was my B flat, right? And so I had to reach in between. That's kind of tricky. I actually wouldn't recommend it. But all you have to do is play in the just one inversion up, and then you don't have that problem. Oh, that's from a video game. Isn't it? Okay, I'll digress for those of you who won't recognize it. I want to say Mario. I can't remember. Oh my gosh. Put it in the comment, right? Something like that. All right, I'm sorry. You can tell I have no script for this video. That's another song though, right? What's another one I was talking about? Raindrops Keep Falling on My Head. I played that one in F. Let's do it in G just to give a little variety. So, right, if we have, maybe let's choose that second inversion again. So we're staying out of the way so that when we choose to come up and hit a 9, we're not going to run into our right hand. That's pretty important. Raindrops keep falling on my head. You could make it as easy as that, just the 1 and the 5 and the 1. Or you could do what we've already done. Raindrops keep falling on my head. Maybe it's just slightly different. And in this song, I think it actually goes from the 1 chord to the major 7 chord to the dominant 7 chord. So you might want to do that. And then we'll change. Like that. And if you are going to run into your other hand because you've decided to go from this voicing to this voicing, just don't come up to the 9. Just hit your 5 instead. Does that make sense? What was I playing? I think on How Can You Mend a Broken Heart, I played, where's my key? How can you mend a broken heart, right? I just took the scale. So when we're talking about the major chord, before I talked about what scale to play in a minor chord, I talked about a natural minor scale, or it's the same as an Aeolian scale. But on a major situation, I say you can play any note, but maybe not the 4 very much. So all of those notes worked great, didn't they? You could start here and just play every offbeat like that. And I started on the 7. Let's try it on the 6. And I decided to change directions just because on the spur of the moment I felt it. And all you have to do is just try it with the melody and see how it sounds. How can you mend a broken heart? Right? I don't know about that one. That's the melody. And this was the note I decided to start on. And it's okay, but it's not great, is it? So it's too close to the melody note. So I'd choose something that's not right up against the melody note. So maybe up at the 3rd is a good idea. How can you mend a broken heart? How can you stop the rain from falling down? Now see how the 6 kind of stuck out right there? I should have skipped it. but I'm trying to, show you some things. So, all of these worked because we didn't get to the 4 yet. And then we're on the G minor, and I went up to the 9. I should have skipped right past it. And that is great. Like, that sounds great, right? You just have to skip the 6 sometimes because, if you're on that minor chord, you don't want to be the thing that resolves to the 5 chord if it doesn't resolve. So you got to be careful of your bass line. And a way to do that is often to avoid the 6th degree on a minor chord, and it's also to avoid the 4th degree on a major chord. Now, what about your dominant chords? And let's go back to Raindrops Keep Falling for this one, because remember it, if we're in the key of G, and then we do G major, and then here it is, right? Right here. Sometimes if you don't know which scale tones are okay to play, just give yourself a little bit of context like this. Raindrops keep falling on my head. Here it comes. Just like the guy. And just try it. The 4 is the only one that sounds bad to me, right? But every other one sounds good. Just like the guy whose feet were too big for his. And then here we're on a minor chord. And there's only 2 beats here, right? I think it does that. I do it again here. They keep falling. So I just did me some talking to the sun. If you can find a pattern that you like and then you keep it from chord to chord, that's a really good idea too. So 9 octave 5 1 2 9 octave 5 1 2 9 octave 5, and then the new one, and do it again, do, do, do. Like that. You could even keep it going, but at some point I do like to do that thing where I go up a scale or down a scale, playing on every single offbeat. And I would practice just going through a song. You could even just make an exercise, just do it in C major. And you could go from C to F to C to F, just back and forth. So maybe you could just go. You can change it a little bit every time. As crazy as you want, but it's a fun thing to do, I'm telling you. And yeah, I'd like to hear all of your crazy bouncy quarter note songs. I wrote one once. It went it's on my first album. The bass plays this. I had some time today, and I let the bass do all the work at the beginning, playing all the triplets. You can hear it. It's called The Way It Was, but the chorus goes, is that the way it was back in those yesterdays? Is that the way it was back then? I've been playing with it for a really long time, and in this situation, all I did was just play the right hand and let the bass player do all of that. Because I'll tell you what, that Bacharach Bounce is fun. And it's catchy, and it just kind of makes you sound hip sometimes. All right, go run with it. Play some little exercises that I showed you. Play these songs that I showed you. Find your own songs. You can even find songs that aren't written in this style and play them in this style anyway. You can totally do that. And let me know songs that I've missed that are in this style that would really work, because I'd like you guys to just kind of throw around ideas. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. I will see you next time on Aimee Nolte Music.